Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? It's Bella, the founder of the Embodied Wellness Institute. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to draw a little bridge for you guys from the space of I need to live a healthier life because something is off and some our doctor told me I have to, and the space of I want to find my purpose and enjoy my life more. Because in my practice view, over 20 years of study and practical kind of experience with all kinds of both populational level and individual level health, the big reason that we're not getting the results that we want in preventive health and in individual kind of habit shifts to implement those healthy living habits in our individual lives is precisely because we have excluded pleasure from it, we have excluded enjoyment from it, and we have placed it in this category of like the fear-based and the scary stuff, right? You come out from the doctor and he gives you this sheet of paper with everything that you need to do, and it's like, oh my God, I have to do all of this, right? And if something is already in that space for you, right? If it's in that space of like the unpleasant, and if you approach it from a perspective of what I cannot do, I'm gonna have to stop doing the things that I really enjoy doing, are you likely to engage in that? Unless maybe you have some serious health condition? No, it's not a rational choice. All of these decisions happen at a very subconscious and habitual fashion. And our body is after pursuing pleasure and avoiding pain. So if we try to rationally implement these changes, we will always fail. So the reason my methodology works, and it's a methodology that comes from what is used at like ministry levels, at changing our behaviors. It is used in marketing to change our behaviors, and you know how well it works. When something you don't really need, then you go and click that button and buy it. Because there are ways to influence our behavior that work like magic, but we're not using them for the right things. Recently, I was approached by a doctor. By the way, enjoying life is important. I practice what I preach. So I was approached by a doctor, my doctor actually, and he knows the work that I'm doing. And he said, look, Bella, it's really interesting because, I have my medical act, and he's a very holistic doctor, and he practices lifestyle medicine, right? Which is about how chronic diseases are actually, in most cases, they're caused, or they're at least correlate with poor lifestyle habits, from sedentarism, unhealthy eating habits, and not managing stress properly. Those three are like 90% of everything that we're doing incorrectly. And also because of all the exposure that we have to things that our body doesn't know how to process, right? Toxins and environmental pollution and things like that. Okay, so he approaches me and he says, look, I do my work and I give the clients the list of things that they need to do, and then they go home and guess what? They don't do it, and they come back, and I have to, sometimes they come back with a worse chronic condition, right? And he saw that what I do is sort of the continuation of that medical act. What he suggests is fully aligned with what I teach, but I teach it in a very different way, because I go from a perspective of not like you have to do it because the doctor told you so, or you have to do it from a perspective of subtracting something from your life, but the opposite of finding what is it that you truly desire, how we can transform and add more beautiful things into your life, right? So for example, I like bread and cheese. I know they're kind of unhealthy, So have I excluded bread and cheese from my life? No. If I tell myself I can't eat bread and cheese, I will crave them even more. So what I've done is I've dramatically reduced the consumption of bread and cheese. And I've also found really cool substitutes for them. So for example, whole grain rye crackers that are much healthier, or sprouted bread. And then instead of cheese, sometimes I'll have like the best, incredible, there's so many varieties of vegan cheeses now that some are super unhealthy actually, so be careful, they'll add modified food starch and all of these things, and then they try to make it sound like it's healthier. It's not. So you have to really be a careful consumer. So anyway, so you find that they're also very healthy varieties. So I found this vegan cashew cheese that tastes just like real cheese and on the cracker. So it's like I use that so that my brain won't go into this space of something is being taken away from me, because that doesn't work, right? I've shared this example. You're trying to lose weight, right? And you just don't enjoy going to the gym. I don't blame you. I hate going to the gym. I used to be at the gym all the time as a personal trainer, but now I really dislike it and I don't have time. So I found things that just really move me, which is like dance, running in nature and connecting to nature, right? And yoga by my pool. Like there's certain things that can transform super boring behaviors into really, really enjoyable ones. So what happens is if you infuse and integrate pleasure into everything that you do, these habits become sustainable. They become part of your neural wiring. You kind of trick your brain into shifting your habits without even having to use your willpower. That's how my work operates, and taking all of these things that we have to do and transforming them into things that we actually want to do. To me, it's pleasure. It's if you're not enjoying what you're doing, your body chemistry slowly switches into this more depressive mode. It's no wonder that we have so much depression, because we're not pursuing things that make us feel good. So thinking about behaviors that make us feel good is not only not hedonistic, it is the most essential component. As you're enjoying something, you're flooding your bloodstream with feel-good hormones, and that is improving your mental health, but it's also enhancing your immune system, it's enhancing your digestive system, it's improving all of these different things that are directly our physical health, not just related, but they are our physical health. Okay, so pleasure has that role in helping us stick to certain behaviors, to changing how our physical health is doing. But also, when we, from childhood, I'd say this happens in childhood, when we force ourselves, or your parents forced us to do something that we don't really enjoy, and we go to, then we go to school and we have to sit for 8 hours straight, we learn to start ignoring the signals that our body is sending us. And what happens that eventually we learn that we have to do what someone else is telling us to do, or what is, important to earn money, but we stop paying attention to what our body is telling us that feels good. And eventually we don't even know what feels good in a body. I really see this as the biggest culprit in not only this generalized state of apathy in people and depression and anxiety, because they don't even know what feels good anymore, but it also contributes to a lot of our health problems. Because when you're constantly doing something that you don't enjoy, and you're not paying attention to what feels good to the body, and you're not even paying attention to the things that don't feel good to your body, you kind of miss those signals that are telling you, like, I'm gonna break down soon if you don't take care of me. the mind is telling you like, I'm not doing well. It's preventive for you to be able to pay attention to your body and follow what feels good. And so that's what I do. I work with my clients and in groups and mentorships, and figuring out what are the components of healthy living. They are very important. What are the things that we need to do, but do them in a way that doesn't feel like a burden. And then we start infusing this powerful way of really implementing habit shifts into our day-to-day with pleasure. So nutrition becomes fun and enjoyable, cooking becomes fun and enjoyable, exercising becomes fun and enjoyable. And so we trick our brain into adapting new behaviors and new habits that not only are good for our health, but are amazing for our mental health and well-being. And they kind of open up this new way of living our life where we are only following that which feels good. And eventually that leads to this beautiful path of personal development, synchronicity, spiritual awakening. Yes, pleasure is part of our spiritual journey as well. Suffering is very much an egoical thing. When you are fully embracing this intrinsic pleasure of being alive, like a bird that's flying in the sky, or like that flower that's blooming, you tap into the essence of what it means to be alive, and you tap into that life that's at the core of who you are. And if that's not spirituality, I don't know what is. Spirituality is not out there, it's right here, but we have to learn to pay attention to it. So come join our mentorship groups. Join me for individual sessions if you're struggling with chronic issues, or if you just want to improve your lifestyle and just feel more energized and excited about life. I'm here to help you. Thank you.